everyone is everyone who has converted on an offer. And in the podcast, Molly and Keith used as an example a webinar registration campaign. And in their example, there are actually two different ways to accomplish this. The way that they did it in the podcast is they suggested using this same pixeled custom audience website traffic and using the URL of the thank you page once someone signs up. And that is a perfectly legitimate way to do it. The only thing I don't like about that is that if this is an ongoing campaign, the maximum that you can use one of these audiences for, or that it will track, is 180 days. And for some of these evergreen campaigns, that's not going to be enough. So one of the advantages, if we've already got Sync to CRM, rather than do it this way, one of the advantages is to use a tag instead. So you will notice in my tags, I'll make this a little bigger so that you can see it, for all of my webinars, we create an event registered tag, which gets applied as soon as someone registers for our webinar. We also have an event not attended tag and an event attended tag. And so I would use these tags to make all three of those in this case, but since in their example they were just talking about the conversion, right? Someone has signed up for the webinar. That's the conversion you were looking for. So again, I'm going to use this tag instead of the thank you page, because I can be a lot more specific and I can go beyond 180 days, and so that would look like this. Again, back to Sync to CRM, I say create new, Facebook custom audience, I say continue, choose my accounts, and here I'm going to say registered, let's see, I'm going to say 2016-01-07, I think was the date, demo registered for demo, something like that. Pick the ad account, say continued. And here, when I want to know which list, I'm going to say start searching 2016-01 demo. Here's my tag, 01-07 demo registered. I say continue. I want to update this every 3 hours. Okay, and so the other benefit of doing it this way is if someone on our staff was to add someone manually, let's say they phoned up or they emailed and they said they wanted to attend the webinar and we added them manually, because that tag is going to get applied, they'll get included. It's a little bit more robust than using the thank you page, assuming you've already got Sync to CRM anyway. Okay, so we have that. Here's our demo registered audience. Now in this case, there are no contacts with that tag because we ended up canceling that particular demo. But nonetheless, I think it's going to show up here in the custom audiences anyway. It'll just say audience too small. So we'll refresh and see what we come up with. Yep, there it is. Okay. Remember I told you that don't worry, that number will come up eventually. So there's our site-wide 180, and it's now showing 500 and ready. And over time, these numbers get, these are just estimates. They get better and better over time. But that's its first guess as to how many matches it's going to get. Okay, so now let's just quickly, as long as we're on this particular subject, when I did this one, in the case of an event, I would probably go ahead and just also put in the event attended and the event not attended. And the reason we do that is because we're already here. This allows our campaign to to basically we automate the campaign so that we don't have to come back and touch it over and over and over again. It's the same idea as creating an Infusionsoft campaign in advance. So if I had gone in here and set these tags up as custom audiences as well, then when I held the webinar, as people were marked as either attended or not attended, then they would automatically flow into the proper custom audience, and then they would see the appropriate ads based on which category they fell in. So that's just a little extra tip on using Sync to CRM to automate and scale your campaigns without having to touch them over and over and over again. All right, so those are our 4 custom audiences recommended in episode 22. If you have not listened to episode 22, again, I would strongly recommend it. You can, in fact, I recommend that you listen to all the episodes of Perpetual Traffic. If you do that, fortunately, it's still a pretty young podcast. You can probably, if you play them at 2x, you could knock it out in a weekend. And quite frankly, if all you do is watch and listen to these 20 some odd podcasts, you will know more about Facebook marketing, digital marketing than most people know in a lifetime. So really useful stuff. Highly recommended.